Okay. Good morning, everyone. And then, first of all, we'll start discussing the unit number 6, word processing in grade 10. So in this particular case, we have a collection of past paper questions. So what you did actually, the questions from past papers, right? So it's good that if you got a decent score, you already know your score because I have shared, right? I have shared your responses with the questions. If I have not done, so I'll share with you. But let's start the first one. Now, the question asks, right? The question asks, word processing software used to create a file named text.rtf. So one thing you need to remember is RTF is a file format. Again, it's one of the word processing one. If you use WordPad in Windows, you are getting RTF file when you save it, right? So remember that. Okay. And then in this particular case, after editing the document, user wants to save this file as text file. So that means the requirement is we want to save it as a different file format. So which command we have to use? Right. If you use file save, it will save the file. So what save does in the beginning, it will save the file the way you want. And then second time onwards, it will save it in the same file name. You can't change the format. So the first one is incorrect. And if you take the third one, Control S, that is also same as save. So that is also incorrect. Control B, you know what is stand for Control B? Yes, it's bold, right? So that means third one is on correct. The answer is file save as, especially if you want to change the name or if you want to change the file type, as in this case, you should select file save as. So this is common for any other application as well. If you want to save it in a different file format or different file name, remember that we have to use it as a save as. So in this particular case, if I go to responses, you can see that right, most of the time you got the correct answer. Right. So if I go to second one, right? If I go to the second question, question number 2, right? The question asks, consider the following statements about word processing software. It allows format characters into different sizes and colors. You know the formatting in the home tab, you can change the size, you can change the colors. So you know that it's true. Second one, it allows to draw shapes and diagrams in a document. Actually, in Word, you can do this, right? You can draw shapes, we can draw diagrams. But if you look at the third one, it's like editing digital video and audio. We have not discussed these things yet, but word processing definitely is not a software for doing this. So the answer is A and B. Right? So in this particular case, right? So the answer should be A and B only, right? The next question. That is the third one. In the third one, we were discussing which of the following statements is correct regarding tables in word processing. So this talks about the tables. So if you look at tables, two or more cells can be merged. We know that you can merge it, right? You select. So that's true. Okay. So two or more cells could be merged. It is not possible to delete a column and row. Definitely we can, right? We can remove columns or row. Third one, column width can be adjusted while row height cannot be adjusted. Remember, you can change both row and height if you wanted to, right? Some of you have actually selected that one, so that's incorrect actually. A cell cannot be split. Yes, we can split a cell. So the answer is two or more cells can be merged. So most of you, except only one, you got the correct answer. Right. So let's move on to the next one. Right. So the next one, which of the following can be applied to blank table in word processing document? If you do not have anything, right? Word processing document. Coloring cells, can you apply? Yes, you can. You can color the cells. I think I discussed this. B, merging adjoining cells in the table. Yes, when you can merge, usually we merge adjoining cells. Third, inserting cells into a table. Right? You can insert cells. So the answer is all A, B, C, right? You can add. So most of you actually selected, some of you actually, about 1/3 of the class is A and B. I understand the third one, but in this particular case, when you talk about the cells, so you can insert cells in the table, meaning cells in the row and cells in the column. Right? That's possible. Yes, the next one, what is the icon that can be used to undo the steps applied to a document in word processing? Now, the first one is, this is not very clear, but if you carefully see, it's a copy, the first one. Then the second one, yes, is format. We call formatting, format painting, the second one. Then here the third one, I think it's clearly see it's undo. So this arrow is the undo option. And finally, this is cut. You see a scissor here. So that is cut. So the answer is the third one. What is the function key obtaining help in word processing software? So this is common for any software when you work in your computer. The help is F1. Right. Then F5 we will use, for example, in PowerPoint presentations. In PowerPoint, we will discuss, right? In PowerPoint, we will discuss the F5 is the shortcut key to start the presentation. Right? And what is shortcut key F7? Anyone? Make a note of this. This is to spelling and grammar. Make a note of this. F2 we don't normally see, right? So the answer for this question is F1. F7 is for spelling and grammar. Make a note of this one because I have seen some of you have selected as F7. Right. The next one. Which of the following is considered as formatting text? You know, the formatting text means you are going to change the text, right? So is it changing the slide layout of electronic presentation? We have not covered yet, but you know that it's not, change in layout will nothing to do with formatting text. So first one is out. Then making content of a cell spreadsheet software bold. You know that formatting is changing text like bold, italics, underline. So we can take the second one as the correct answer. Third, inserting an image to a word processing document, it's not a formatting, definitely. Checking spelling and grammar is also incorrect. Okay, the next one. So you have given two sentences. The first one, A and B. The question asks you how you can format the sentence A to B, right? If you carefully look at, you know that it is underlined as well as its italics. So in that particular case, what we could do is we could use italics and underline. So select italics and underline. That is the third option. Third answer. So this is the correct answer. Other combination will not work. Right. Let's move to the other one. Right. In order to move part of a text in a document being edited using word processing software, first select the text to be moved. Okay. So what you have to do to move something, comma, move the cursor to the place where the text is to be moved, B, the text. What should be A and B? So we know that there are three things when we talk about this copy, cut, and paste. So copy paste, for example, is actually copy something in a text and then you can paste it anywhere, right? So if you want, you can paste it multiple times. But in this particular case, it should be moved, which means you have to use cut and paste. You have to get cut and paste. So the last one is the answer. So many of you actually selected copy paste. Remember, copy paste is making a copy, but it will not move the text, right? Moving means you remove it from there and you take it to another place. So that's one of the mistakes that you have made, right? Make a note of this one. Right, the next one. Which of the following tools is used to hide or display non-printing characters? Okay, non-printing means now when you type spaces, for example, or if you use tab character, right? If you press enter, you don't see, right, that particular actions, right? But if you use this non-printing characters, this symbol, you can see those, right? So let me show you with Word. So let me take Word and let me share it. So here is my Word document, right? So I can type something. I can have spaces, I can have multiple spaces, and I can have tab character. I'm using tab here, right? And then I can press enter, right? Again, some spaces, and I'm using tab character here, right? So if you're using this symbol, if you look at here, right, this is what we call the hide and show, especially the characters. So we have to use this. So normally it will not show. Now you see, right? Let me increase the size of this. So this will indicate, okay, here are the spaces, right? Here are the tab characters, and this is the enter. So you see everything, right? Sometimes when you type it and when you have difficulty in formatting your document because of insertion of these characters, right, you better, use this symbol. Okay. We'll back to the quiz, right? So hide or display non-printing characters. So the first one is, what is the first one? Can you type in the chat? The first one is format painting. Second one is cut. Third one is the answer. So this is for show and hide, right? Especially non-printing characters like spaces, tab character, as well as enter. Right. So when you look at the fourth one, it's actually find and replace. Okay. So let's move to the next one. So in this particular case, you have two lines, right? In this case, we have we have the default sentence, and B is after applying some commands, right? And you need to identify what the key combination. So if you carefully look at, you see that the A to B, you see the text are bold as well as it's italic, right? In this particular case, so you have to say bold and italic. So the answer is the second answer. We have bold and italic. Right, good. Let's move on to the next one. Right, consider the sentences and their text alignment within the box below, right? So the text alignment is there. So statement A, B, C, we have three statements. So you can see A is left aligned, it's aligned to the left, and B aligned to the right, and C is center line. So which means the second choice is the correct answer. We have to have center line, right align, and then center line. Right, the next one. Which of the following tools can be used to find given term in a word processing document? So many of about half of you actually confused with this one. So that means find and replace. I think I discussed this. So the first symbol is for this one, find and replace. So make a note of this one. So if I show you in Word, let me go to the Word document we have just created earlier, right? So we can have find and replace here, right? So this is actually near a new version where you could not actually find this, but in the syllabus, we are using Word 2010. In that particular case, so you can use this. Okay, so that's find and replace. Okay, make a note of that one. Okay, so let's move on to this again. So we have first one, find and replace. Then we can have links. If you want to insert a link, you can use the second one, make a note of that one. Third one, grammar check. Fourth one is change case, capitalization. You can change the case. Once you type, you can make it uppercase, or you can make it lowercase, or you can make it a sentence case and so on. Right. So that's the fourth one. Right. So this is find and replace, and this is hyperlink. This is spellings and grammar, and in this case we have change case. So the answer should be the first one. Okay, next. Right. Consider the following file name extensions, right? So this is one of the questions that normally we will get in the exams, right? You need to identify what is given, file names. Right. So ODT, the file format, right? There are many word processing software. So it's not only, Microsoft Word. So there are many others. So ODT means Open Document Text File. ODT stands for Open Document Text File format, right? So usually Open Office, right? So you can see. So some of them, they are using this one. So even Microsoft, right? It will support this format. And DocX is the default file format for Microsoft. So definitely it's a word processing. C, it's doc. Doc means the previous version before, I think, the 2007, we had doc version, and the newest version is docx. And the last one is RTF. RTF is also a word processing type, and it's actually, you normally, we call a rich text file. RTF stand for rich text file, which means, again, when you type a document in WordPad, usually you get this, right? So which means the answer for this one is all A, B, C, D, all these file formats comes under word processing software. I think it's a good question, and only about 30% of the class actually got this correct. Right. The next one. So it's an easy one. Now I hope you are very familiar with, given the two sentences, you need to identify which formatting commands we need to use. So if you look carefully, you can see. So this time it's italic and underline. So you can go there to look for it, right? The underline and italics, that is option number 2. Right. The next one. Which of the following icons in word processing software can be used to search for text in a document? Which of the following icons in word processing software can be used to search for a text in a document? So this is, text search. I think I have repeatedly discussed this answer. So the answer option is option 4 here, right? To select, search something in the document. So if you look at this, this is format painting. If you want to copy some format from one to another, we have to use this one. This is cut, and this is show and hide non-pretty characters, which we have discussed earlier. And this is the answer. Okay, next one. Consider the following statements related to a table created using word processing software. Right. The first statement says it is possible to format text. That means you can bold, italic, underline, you can change the color and so on. So you can do this, right? So A is correct. B, words in a document, words in a column of a table can be arranged in alphabetical and order. Right? We have not discussed this, right? But let me show you how you may do this. Right? And then C, numbers in column of a table can be added together. So the answer is actually all these three. But you know, I can understand because we have not discussed these things, right? So I have typed some text in a table. Now I'm going to select it, right? So I will select these three, and then I will click on sort, right? So now you have to select what you need to, select. Right? So sort will say column 1. If it is a heading, you can select the heading here because we don't have a heading. So column 1 text, which direction? We can say ascending. So you see that it's apple, banana, and grapes. Let me click it again. This time I'm going to select again column 1, but in descending. You see, you can sort this one. Right? So let's say we have some numbers, right? We have, let's say 10 and 50, right? So if you want to do something to the table cells, so you can go to, I hope it'll in layout and under the formula, right? So we can say sum above, which means we'll get the addition of the first two. Actually, we have not discussed these things, but this is possible. So the answer is correct. Okay, so let me go back to the question again. Right. So the answers for this is now clear, I guess. So we can format the change, you can sort, and then you can actually add numbers together. So all the three are correct. So the next one, which of the following is not a common feature in both word processing and presentations? Right, we have not covered the presentation yet, but let's see. Find and replace, right? Definitely, I think you can guess find and replace should be there because you might run into a situation where you may need to replace the text, right? Mail merge, you remember that mail merge is very specific to word processing, isn't it? You have master document and then you have a set of data to be changed. You merge them, will create multiple documents. Changing line spacing, definitely you can do in both ones. Spelling checking also the same. So the feature specific to word processing is mail merge. Right, the next one. The following four icons label P, Q, R is a common use in word processing software to align. So you know that P is left align, Q is center align, R is right align, and S is justify. So let's look at the statements. So P align text to the left and R align text to the right. So that's correct, right? Left and right. B aligns legs to the left and S align legs only to the right. No, that's incorrect because justify means it's both. C aligns text to the center. Q align text to the center, and S justifies the text. C also correct. So which means answer for this is A and C only. Right. I think majority of you got it correct. The next one, we have given couple of shortcut keys. Control C, we already discussed, is copy. Control A is select all, and Control V is paste. Right. So answer all A, B, C. Right. The next one. Okay. So that's about creating list of invitees using mail merge. So if you remember, the first step is we have to create the letter. And the term that we have to use is called master document. I have seen like some of you actually confused with the term master document. So consider the following step in printing invitation to a list of invitees using mail merge facility in word processing software. So what we did there is we first create the letter, and this is known as master document, right? Remember the term, the master document. And the B, then we can create and save list of invitees with their addresses as, so it's the data source. So what we do here, we will merge, right? So the master letter with this data source, right? So that's what we call mail merge. By doing so, you can create multiple documents. So let me show you how you could do this. Let me start with what we have already done. So let's see. So let's say I want to send this letter to a couple of people. So manually doing this will take some time. So because of that, right? Manually, sending letters or creating letters is a tedious task, time consuming. So I will start with the master document. So this is called master document. So in this particular case, we wanted to, create what we want to put here. So first of all, let's say we expect to type the first name, and then we are going to put a date and a time. So now to do this, first of all, you go to mailings, right? And then you select mail merge. And let's say I'm going to select letters. So that's the first step. Then we have to select recipient, and I'm going to create a new list, right? When I'm going to create a new list, I need only 3 things. I do not need everything. So I can customize, right? For example, title I don't have. So I'm going to delete it. Yes, but I'm going to keep the first name, and I'm going to remove the remaining. So I'm going to keep on deleting the remaining sections we don't need. So I will remove everything except the first one, right? So you could have start from the beginning a new one. but I will start by customizing this, right? Okay, I will keep only the first name. Then I will add, I need a date, right? And then I need a time. So first of all, you will, identify what information you want to put it here or change here, right? Then I will create the data source. So let's say we have Kamal, and I'm going to ask Kamal to meet me on today, right? At 10 o'clock, right? I'm going to say 10 a.m. The next, right? Manel, I'm going to ask the same date today. I'm going to ask Manel to meet me in 15. We have add one. We have Sunil. So same today's date. I'm going to say 10:30. We'll have one more one. Sayuni. Let's say I'm going to meet her tomorrow. 10 a.m. Okay. Right. So likewise, I will create the data source. Now I'm going to click OK. So names. So use name that. Now you can actually select, right? So I'm going to use individually one field at a time. So I'm going to select insert merge field. But if you need the address block or greet inline, you can easily select from here. For example, like this, we can say dear sir or madam, or you can have the name. So in my case, it will be like dear Kamal if I use that, right? But I'm going to go for individually. So I'm going to select first name first. So I'm going to say insert. Now you see here, right? So we have first name inserted, right, within these brackets. So we have first name. We would like to have the name. And then, right, I'm going to have, we will have a meeting with you on, so right, so the next one is I want to add a date. So I will put a date here, space, at, and then I would like to type the time, insert. Now I have put the places where I need it. Now I can complete, finish and merge and edit individual document. When I click it, see what will happen. So right now I have only one document. You can say page 1 of 1. When I say edit individual documents and when I say all, now you see this document, right? So now you see this document, dear Kamal, we will have a meeting with you on at 10 a.m. Right? If you go down, right, it will create the letter for Manil. She will have a meeting at 10:15. The next, Sunil will have a meeting at 10:30, right? And finally, we have Sayuni. She will have a meeting on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Right? This is basically mail merges. Okay, so those who missed, I think we have discussed what a mail merge is. So let's go back to the question again. So we could use mail merge facility to send the document for multiple users, person. So in this particular case, you have to select the master document and key should be the data source, right? So the second one is the answer, right? The next one, right? We want to edit a document, word processing, and we want to copy selected parts to another one. So it says copy, so you have to select copy and paste. So shortcut keys, I hope you remember, it should be Control C and Control V. Control C for copy and Control V for paste. And there are other ones as well. Control N, normally we will get document, right? And Control P, normally we will use for print, right? If you do not know, make a note of this one. Okay, so with this one, we will finish the discussion. So we'll switch to the next lesson. Right. So in one, we will discuss how to insert some background image. So let me increase the font size as well. Right. So this is like, look like a document now. Okay, right. Now we have something. Let me balance both lines so that it's very nice to see, right? So that part we have done. Okay, and then furthermore, I will also go to insert, and maybe I will look for drop cap. Okay, let me check the layout. We have the size. Let me say A4 size. Okay, looks good. Now let me put an image. Now, a couple of things. Now, first of all, you can insert image anywhere in the document, right? I can say insert. Let me go to pictures. I will go to online pictures. And let me check for images about Sri Lanka. Okay, sorry, we have to say, right. Okay, here are some images. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to insert it. So when you immediately enter an image, what happens? The text will be moved to some other places, right? So you can adjust it. Now, for example, I can adjust this, right? In this way, you can adjust the image, or you can also adjust here. You can just type, let me say, okay, 2 inches, right? I will just put 2, right? So likewise, now text is below and top like this. So this can be changed, right? When you select the picture and when you go to wrap text, you can decide where you want to put the image. Now, if you put a square, this is what will happen. It will come around. If you say tight, and this is what will happen. Through and top and bottom is what we have seen. This is behind text and this is in front of text. Now, if you need an image to background, we select back behind text normally, isn't it? So we are going to put it behind, right? And then maybe I can increase the size of this one so that it will be matched with our document. Right, this is not a human, so I think we can, if you really want, you can do changes in the width, but I do not recommend this if it is a, right, if it is a, right now I have put everything in one. Okay, so we have put the image in the background. Right, I have to make it a little bit like this. Cover all the text. Now I can do some modifications now, especially in the text is not very visible. So I'm going to go to picture format, go to corrections, not to remove background as such. If I want to do that, I can even remove it, but no, I'm not going to do that now. Right, and then let me go to color. So I want to, like, we have a strong colors. which prevents to show me the letters in the document. So I will prefer washout. So I will see it as a background, and then maybe I can use a frame, right? Some frame. Okay, so I prefer this one, right, to insert the image. Now, if you print it, we have a image in the background in light color like this, right? And put it in the background. Is that what you need, Alidu?
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that question helped the others as well, right? Okay, so let's move to the new topic today, right? So today we will learn to look at the next topic. That's we are going to look on spreadsheets. Yes, the technique that I have used, you can use in PowerPoint as well. Yes, yes, Malindo. Okay, so having said that, let me move on to the Excel. That means we are going to perform some calculations, right? So let's start with the whiteboard for this one. Let me share the whiteboard with you. Can you see the whiteboard? Okay, guys,
Yes.
now let's start with a new topic, right? Maybe we can take down the new topic. So we are going to look at how we can have calculations with the computer. Right. Okay. Okay, let's start. Now, a few things we need to learn about the spreadsheets. Let's type, let's write down. So we have to start with electronic spreadsheets. Electronic spreadsheets. So that's the topic. Now, spreadsheets are very beautiful and very useful software, especially when you would like to perform calculations. So in this module, we are going to look at how electronic spreadsheet software could be used to perform various calculations for our day-to-day records. So most of the places in schools, in other organizations, people use spreadsheets to perform calculations. It's a very useful software, which I think it's useful for you as well. Right. So let's start. Now, the very first thing that we want to discuss is spreadsheet. Right? It can store various types of data. So it can store various types of data. Now, for example, we can have, right, numbers, letters, different types of various types of data. So you can store various types of data. And how do you store? So you store them as columns and rows. So let me open Excel. That's a Microsoft version. So this is the Microsoft version for spreadsheets, right? So let me share the screen. So when we have Excel, when you open Excel, this is how you see. So we have various types of data, and what you see is you see them as columns and rows, right? You see a set of rows and you see set of columns, isn't it? So you see set of rows and set of columns, right? So these are the rows. We have rows are numbered 1, 2, 3, and so on. So these are the rows. And these are the columns, right? So we have rows and columns. So we have columns and then we have rows, right? So we have large number of columns. Like if you go A, B, C, D, you go up to Z, and then it starts like A, B, and so on. If you press Control and right arrow, you go to the end. So in my version, it will go up to XFT, right? And the rows as well. If you go to rows, and if you press Control down arrow, so you see how many 1 million rows we can have in my version, right? So in different version, we have it support different numbers. So it might be different. So you can try this. Press Control and arrow keys. You can go anywhere in the document, right? Okay. Now the next thing, you can type different things inside this one, right? So you can type different things. And that what you have type is you have to type in the cell. Now we are in this cell, we call it. And we name with the column and a row. Remember, it's very important. Column, you start with the column and then row. So in this particular case, so, right? So we have B and we have 3, B3, right? So B and 3 is there. Right? And if you go to another one, it will be this one, E3. So we can see here. So this is easy to reference. So whatever the data item in Excel, we can reference using this one. Okay, right. That's the first thing. So I think let's look at that. So now another thing that you have in a sheet, right? So you can have multiple. Now we are in sheet 1, you can create new sheet. If you click this one, you go to sheet 2, click again, add another sheet. So you can have multiple sheets. And because of that, we know this as a book, right? So in Excel, you see here book 1, because you can have multiple sheets. Okay, I think we'll start with discuss and then we'll come back to this later. Right. So I will go to whiteboard again. Okay, so let's take down. So a spreadsheet and electronic document that stores various types of data, right? We will discuss. Right. Then let's take down about the row and columns. So we can say there are vertical columns and horizontal rows that we have seen. A cell is where the column and row intersects. a cell where the row and column and row intersects. A cell can contain data and can be used in calculations of data within the spreadsheet. This is exactly what we are going to do. So we have something called cells. Whenever we want to put something, we put into a cell. Now later, you can use it for various tasks like calculations in this case. Let me know when you finish writing in the chat. So spreadsheets are also known as workbooks. The idea is in workbook, we have more than one worksheets. So make a note of this one, worksheets. So here are some example applications for Google Spreadsheets. So this is Microsoft Excel, OpenOffice Calc, LibreOffice Calc, and Numbers. This is in Apple machines, and these are usually commonly seen in Linux machines, but you can also download freely for Windows machines. And then this is Google Sheets. Okay, so now let's look at the interface. So let's look at the interface. And we need to know the names. So this part I will send it to you, right? This graphics. Right? So usually everything that we have seen in Word, not everything, but some of the icons will be same. So like in the Word interface, you will also have the ribbon, and then there are like a set of tabs. We are very specific to spreadsheets. And the main difference is we have these rows and columns. Rows are numbered and columns are, we represent, alphabets. And then when you select a cell, the cell is a place where the column and row meets. And when you select its active cell, and then the name of the active cell will be C. You can see this inside the name box, right? So we have columns and we have rows. So other things I think common to other applications as well. And usually this is known as a book, and then you can have multiple worksheets, right? Although in your case, we are most of the time using same, which means we are using a single sheet, but remember, you can have multiple sheets. Then next one, when you go to each of these tabs, right? Let me show you here first, right? So in the home tab, usually you will have formatting, which we have already seen in Word as well. Then alignment, right? But then we have new group, numbers and styles, and also the cells. So these are like slightly different from Word. Actually, we didn't have these things in the Word, right? Then if you go to the next one, next tab, we will have insert tab. And usually insert tab, you can insert many things, right? Similar to Word, you can enter, most of the things that we have seen in Word as well. But then especially we have charts there. Word also you will see have charts, but I think when it comes to charts in Excel, it's quite powerful. Right, quite powerful when it comes to then we have page layout similar to Word when you want to like change the layout of this, right? So you can change the size of the page, you can change the margins, backgrounds and so on, right? So these are the common ones, right? We'll talk about more details about the cells now, right? So let me start with cell addresses, right? So let me start with the cell addresses, right? So what is a cell address? Like A1, A5, B6, right, and so on. Or cell address used to name a cell. So naming a cell, this is very important. Later on we will see. Now, if you take A1, it means we have a cell which means column A and row 1. Right? Malind asked whether we can make rectangle shape into square shape. Yes, it's possible, Malindu. What you have to do is you have to change the height and width of the column. Like in Word, in Excel sheet also you can change the row height and the column height. You make it the same. Right. So when it comes to cell range, now individual cells, we can say A1, B1, C2, and so on. When you want to represent a range, we can use multiple ways, right? So let me first show you in the Excel, right? So I'm going to get new share. We'll go to, right? I hope now you can see here, right? Now this is individual cell. You see A1, this is A2, B2, right, B4. Range means you select multiple. So you can see multiple cells, right? So now this is, selecting multiple ranges. If you want, you can sell here and there like this. It's possible, right? Now, how do you do this is there are two representations. That's exactly what I want to discuss, right? So let's go back, discuss how you're going to represent the range. Now, when you talk about ranges in, right, we have two ways. The two ways is, let me give you with the example. We can have two ways of representing cells. And the first one is we can comma separate. That means individually you can represent. First way is individually, like A1, A2, A3, you can comma, so use a comma, right? Now we can represent A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. That means you are going to select 5 consecutive cells together. You can comma separate like this. This is you are representing individual cells. Now, when you have a range like this, you see it's from start to the end, right? Then you can shorten this to say, specify start of the cell and end of the cell. Now, for example, instead of comma separate like this, you can simply say the starting cell, that is A1, and the end cell is A5. You put a colon. Now, colon represent a range of cells. Now, the meaning of this is, okay, cells between A1 to N5, including A1, A5, right? So there are two ways to represent this one. Now, if you ask me when to use this, if you have the cells in the same place, then use the second notation, that's the best. But if you have like cells here and there in multiple places, then use the notation we will see in the first line. Right. So let's take down. Right. So basically, this is what you will see. So you will have the name box, and whenever you select the cell, right, you see the corresponding the cell address, right, in the name box. Okay, now I hope you got an idea how to represent these ranges. Let's start with a small exercise. We'll start with small exercise. Okay. Now for that, I will start with the cell. Come on, make everything. Okay, so let's take down this spreadsheet, and I want you to represent these cells. You can highlight if you want, like you can take a color, let's say a red color. Let me start with the first one. We says A1, A2, A5, and A6, right? So you color those cells. Shall we start then? Okay,